Alrighty. Hey, folks, how you doing? Ron Raymond here from the Raymond Report for Tuesday, August 18th. Hopefully you're having yourself a great start to your day. And welcome to the Raymond Report, the sports betting podcast with the one and only Ross Benjamin, who's eating a lot of Red Hot these days. Frank's Red Hot. How you doing, Ross?
Hey, I'm doing good, Ron. My wallet's
Get off that wallet.
Yeah. So 3-0 yesterday. Man, oh man, you just don't want this to end. You got to keep working hard, though, Ron. You know you can't get complacent. I had the Minnesota Twins and Kansas City Royals under 9.5. Easy winner there, 4-2. I had the Boston Bruins -114, the St. Louis Blues -123. All 5-star plays. And for those of you who don't know how I rate my plays, simple: 5 and 10 star. The majority are going to be 5-star. When I go to 10-star, I just ask you to bet 50% more. Good money management.
Yep.
So 39-17, Ron, since July 29th with my paid selections in all sports. And on a nice roll in baseball as well, 24-9 with my last 33. And also in the NHL, 10-5 so far in the 2020 Stanley Cup playoffs.
Yeah, good job, buddy. No, that's
Thank
really that's solid.
Yeah.
1-2 yesterday in baseball. 1-0. I had the St. Louis Blues and I had the Brooklyn Nets yesterday. The reason why I took the Nets yesterday is I'm trying during this restart. Everybody talking about Toronto Raptors, the team, and I thought a bit overpriced. I thought a Brooklyn team can come in there, but Toronto put that thing in second gear. But again, with these Raptors, and we talked about it off air, they'll get a big lead I've seen it many times during the year. They'll get this big lead and then just blow it and then let teams come back. And I thought they were going to do it again yesterday when they got to 11 points in the fourth quarter. But you know what? Solid win for the Raptors. We got 4 good games today, Ross, in the NBA. We got 4 in the NHL. You know what? Never thought I'd say this, but we might see a sweep today if the Islanders can pull it off against who would have thought Ovi and the Capitals.
Well, it wouldn't have shocked me if they won. It certainly wouldn't have shocked you since you got a futures bet on the Islanders, by the way, folks. Yeah. He's my buddy Ron Raymond. Those futures bets, he's tough. And just Washington's playing with no heart. That's and the Islanders are frustrating. Look, the Islanders are a tough team to play against anyway. And when I say that, it's not because they overwhelm you with offensive talent. They're just gritty. They're sound defensively, and they play a very structured game. And that could frustrate a team like Washington, right, Ron?
Oh, absolutely. And to me, it looks like Washington's trying to play to get out of the bubble, not into the bubble. You know what I mean? Like I hate to say that, but there's teams like, you're going to start seeing cracks in the armor in some of these teams. Like they're getting homesick and they want to see the kids, they want to see the wife, and they want to get out of the bubble. Hey.
Barry Trotz wanted to get out of Washington after the Stanley Cup. And
he wants to stay in the bubble.
He's doing pretty well since that time. So,
yeah. No, the NBA today, the game of the night, obviously, you got 2 of them with the Rockets and the Thunder, but Portland Lakers, that's going to be an interesting matchup this evening. Yeah. The Lakers coming in this game, but to me, it looks like low confidence as a team. Portland coming in full of confidence. No Westbrook for Houston. Houston tonight. So some good NBA action, and looking forward to that tonight.
Yeah, keep an eye on Oklahoma City as an underdog, folks. They've been cashing all year long. So I believe they're 22 or 23-8 as a dog this year.
Yeah, but unfortunately, I think they're a favorite tonight, 1.5 right now.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, again, they're probably going to be a dog at some point in the series. Just
absolutely. Yeah, unless they crush them, right?
Yeah, I think. I mean, in the other part of the equation is Portland that you mentioned, Ron. They're an entertaining team to watch. They play no defense, though, Ron. You know what I mean? And against a quality team like the Lakers, I'm not so sure that they're a good value in the 5 to 6 point range as a dog. That's the only thing with them. That really holds me back and saying, hey, this could be a series that could surprise a lot of people or go longer than most anticipated. I'm seeing the Lakers win this in 5 games because Portland's not going to wake up this morning after being terrible defensively all year and turn into a good defensive team.
Yeah,
They bank on their guard play and just outscoring opponents.
yeah, and Nurkic is and Hassan Whiteside up against Antonio Davis. You know what? To me, that game, point guards and the small forwards are both teams have them, but it's the big men inside that's really going to dominate. And that's why you look yesterday, Gasol, man, this guy, and Ibaka for Toronto, man.
Yeah.
These guys are solid big men.
No doubt.
I'll tell you one thing. You don't have to worry about favorites in Major League Baseball.
No, man. Again, I had an underdog. I said, I said on yesterday's show, I haven't put an underdog video together for my free picks because how much the favorites are cashing in. And sure enough, I said, I'm going to go against the grain here. I took the Orioles. They got blown out 7-2. I took Colorado. They lose 2-1. So back to the drawing board. You know what? Right now it's playing underdogs. It's just you might as well just give your money to your favorite charity.
Well, what's a big company in the States for milk?
Seal Test. I don't know.
Test?
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, this next broadcast brought to you by Seal Test, the chalk favorite of Major League Baseball.
Exactly. No doubt about it. Let's look at the SBI, Ron.
Yeah, I'll bring it up right now.
Look at what we got here.
Yeah, just share the screen. Buddy, put your sunglasses on because it's a lot of green.
Oh my, look at that. 12-1 yesterday.
12-1, 12-2, 11-5, 12-1.
The sports book's got to be taking an absolute pounding. You told me to coin the phrase or how did you put it? The phrase bet like or think like a bookmaker.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever you said about that. Yeah. So before I do that, think like a bookmaker right now is how am I going to pay all these bills? Because they got to be getting crushed in Major League Baseball.
Well, I said it yesterday, Ross. I said I was kidding with tongue in cheek, but I'm not. You're going to have to start putting run lines on these games and take off the money line.
Or you got to elevate these lines. I mean, especially like we've been alluding to right along, and I'm not sure at what the favorites of 106 to 150 went yesterday, but whatever ones there were, I'm sure they won again. So
I'm gonna bet they're pretty good.
Yeah, especially if you're following that guideline. They're getting killed because how they make their money with favorites is, usually is these people who want to play the chalks of 155 or greater. But if you follow that small favorite scenario, you're making a killing this year.
Well, folks, if you're watching this episode here of the Raymond Report with Ross Benjamin, what you see here is the favorites coming in at 67.1%.
Wow. That's for the year.
That's for the year, not the week 1, week 2. Like this whole column here, it's just favorites.
Incredible.
And 1, 2, 3, 5 favorites. 5 days for underdogs came in. Again, Seal Test, I'll be contacting you after the show for a sponsorship because we're going to need a tall glass of milk to wash down all this chalk we're eating here lately.
Yeah, exactly. And all these people who depend on their affiliate money from these offshore sports books are going broke during this period. So
yeah, COVID wasn't enough. We got to throw in all this chalk.
No doubt about it.
Yeah, so. And looking at the over/unders, Ross, 47.9. Like things are balancing out with the totals. They always do. That's one thing that always fascinates me with over/unders. You can look at go look at the last 20 years on seasons on favorites. It'll hover between 58-63%. I can guarantee you, 48 to 51% is always in the over/under. 6-1 yesterday. Now 50% on the 1-day average. 61 though to the over on the 7-day average. But to me, fire away on the totals. But
the 61. I mean, let's not forget. Well, up until that point, the unders were cashing in at an extremely high rate. Yeah. So, like Ron's been predicting right along, the overs are going to make a comeback here, and they have been.
Yeah.
So
Before I go, Ross, I want to thank some of our audience yesterday for the nice birthday wishes and notes they gave me. Had a guy from Monterrey, Mexico. Luis was his name, and Danny B. She's been a fan of the show for a while when I was doing the rain report. So I want to thank those guys for the nice wishes yesterday. Appreciate it, and
very nice.
thank you for watching our show. And folks, again, if you are interested in following the Rain Report along with Ross Benjamin each and every day, Monday to Friday is our podcast. Don't be scared to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. So this way, every time we load up the video, you'll get notified via email or your mobile device that today's show is now up on YouTube, either OSGA or ATS Stats Raymond Report.
Costs you absolutely nothing, and there's no hidden agenda. It's not like a bait and switch, you know.
And if you do it, Siltest will send you a carton of milk. Wash down all this chocolate.
I'm not even sure Siltest is still in business. I haven't drank milk in so long, Ron. I can't tell you what the big brand is in milk.
Oh yeah.
Right now.
Yeah, don't get me going on milk. I could, I can tell you, like, well, reading books, like studies, like, if you want to lose weight, they say drink skim or 1%. Yeah. But anyways, enough talk. Let's get right to the action here. We got a game today, Ross, at Minute Maid Park at 3:10 first pitch. Houston taking on Colorado. Now, Colorado was one of my underdogs yesterday. I had two dogs yesterday, Ross. I had Baltimore and Colorado, and you know what? So Colorado was there. Baltimore never in there. But looking at today, you got Zach Greinke going up against Antonio Sensatella. And looking at last four starts, the over is 4-0 Sensatella starts for the Rockies. And 13-9. They're coming down. They're crashing a bit here, Ross, the Colorado Rockies. I'm going to say Avalanche there. They're not crashing at all. They're just they're on
rolling.
Yeah, ask Rick Tocchet how they voiced them in there.
Yeah, exactly.
And, Houston, 5-game winning streak. Now they're in the Rain Report, Ross, I always talk about the PVI, Performance Value Index, and right now Houston's on a 5-game win streak. So they're in a bullish situation. Now, bullish means you're either 5-2, 6-1, or 7-0 in your last 7 games, and they're in a bullish state right now. And they're sending Zach Greinke, who really could use a win here at the team's 1-3 in his starts. I don't know what his record is, but
he's pretty good in his last 3. Yeah, he's just not getting any run support, Ron, or bullpen help. I mean, his last 3, a 1.50 ERA and an 0.94 WHIP. That should be pretty. Those numbers should correlate to winning, but they haven't.
Yeah. Now you know how Aaron Rodgers feels there a couple of years ago.
No kidding.
Packers, right? The forecast has Colorado winning this game today, Ross. 3.85, 3.1. The over-under is 6.95. Man, that's a low total for the algorithms. And you know what? 69% chance this game going over. I'll tell you one thing. I'm not touching Houston right now. And if you do like Houston, why not? The chalks are flying right now. The total might be somewhere you're looking at.
Yeah, I mean, sooner or later you would think Greinke gets some run support and his bullpen holds up for him. Sensatella, a little bit, numbers are askew a bit because he gets roughed up at home. His 2 road starts this year, he's got a respectable 3.27 ERA. And Colorado's bullpen at home just absolutely atrocious, which is seems to be a common theme with them since Coors Field opened. Yep. But on the road, Ron, the Colorado bullpen, an 0.98 ERA as a staff, and they have not allowed a home run in 27 2/3 innings pitched. Has a lot to do with the Rockies only going over the total in 2 of their 9 road games. And also Houston right now, all of a sudden you look up and you see them on that 5-game win streak. And during that 5-game win streak, Ron, they've allowed 2 runs or fewer in each of those 5 wins.
Yeah, in the last 5 games, only allowed 1.2 runs points against. So, and Ross,
runs.
here's an if you do like the under today, folks, here's an angle you might want to consider. Combined with the Colorado Avalanche, Rockies, and you know what's worse? There was a Rockies team called hockey. Remember the Colorado Rockies?
Yeah. So, Don Cherry was their coach, I believe,
exactly.
the first year. Yeah.
And the Houston the Gamblers, the Houston Astros. The under is 10-0 when the total is 9.5 for both teams. So You know what?
Say that again, Ron. I'm sorry.
So combined both teams, Houston and Colorado. So when Colorado's on the road and when Houston's at home and the total's 9.5, the under combined 10-0.
Oh, wow. In the last 10 situations.
Last 10 situations. Well,
Okay.
the of all 0-6 for Houston at home and 0-4 for Colorado.
So that's to the under, you're saying, Ron?
To the under.
Okay. Yeah.
Pretty solid.
Yeah.
San Francisco taking on the LA Angels. Now the Angels, big chalk here, minus 240. Over under set at 10. ATS forecast, the computer pick, going to lean with the San Francisco Giants here. 7.04, 3.61. The over under at 10.65. You got Trevor Cahill going to the mound here today up against Dylan Bundy. And looking at the Angels' last 5 games, I've gone over the total. The Kogo at 19%. 83% chance of winning for San Fran, who are coming off a 7-6 loss yesterday to these Angels. And don't look now, Ross, they're on a 5-game losing streak.
Yeah. And 3 of those losses by 1 run. And a lot has to do with the failure of their bullpen. The LA Angels, Al Bundy's kids pitching pretty good, Ron. 3-1 in his team starts this year with a 1.57 ERA, an incredible 0.63 WHIP. However, the Angels, I don't know if a lot of people realize it, 10-1 over the total at home this year.
Wow.
So something to keep an eye on. San Francisco, again, the computer likes them, but again, folks, asking bad teams to do good things for you sometimes most times I should say is a losing cause, and they've lost 5 in a row, like Ron alluded to. So if anything, I'd lean toward the total in this game. But again, it would be hard for me to go over this total. What is it at? 9.5, the way Bundy's pitching right now.
Yeah.
But both bullpens are shaky.
Yeah. And I got conflicting stats on both, so I'm not going to share that. San Diego taking on the Texas Rangers, man. They had San Diego bats finally woke up, amid that, was a 4-game losing streak they're on, 4 or 5.
Yeah.
And now the bookmakers here have the Padres minus 136 price, over under set at 9. ATS forecast, the computer pick, going to lean with the Padres here, 5.34, 4.98, the over under at 10.32. Adrian Morjon going today for, was it Morjon?
Yeah, I see Chris. I saw Chris Paddock inserted into on the update that I saw about 45 minutes ago. You want to check? We might want to check that.
I see Paddock here too. I'll see what bookmaker has.
So that puts a whole new light on things with him in there.
Yeah, no, you're right. I don't know what, and this is, it's going to happen.
Again, it's a pitching change, and we're dealing with computer programming, folks.
Yeah,
so these types of things are going to happen. I mean, it's not set up to pick up a pitching change that's been made in the last 45 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it should be, but someday.
Well, as of now. Yeah, but you know what, Ron? We're seeing more of these late scratches this year, probably in the first month, than we saw probably for the first half of the season last year.
I think everybody gets a mulligan this year on the COVID.
Exactly. There's a reason why the sports books have scratched the option to use listed pitchers. Everything's action right now. And if those of you who have not bet baseball in the past or are new to baseball betting, there used to be an option up until this year, listed pitchers. So if you selected that option, and for example, in this case, if you selected the option with Morjon as the Padres starter and they made a pitching change, that bet would be deleted because of the pitching change. Not no more. It doesn't matter. They can make a pitching change 5 minutes before, go from an ace to a guy who's got a 10.00 or better or greater ERA, and you're stuck with that bet.
Yeah. Now, Mike Minor going today for the Rangers. Now looking at both teams, Texas on a 2-game losing streak. And as I alluded to, that San Diego finally got that win yesterday. Looking at the Kogo here at 42%. 18 runs in Texas aren't the new Globe Life Park. That's a lot of overs yesterday for that's a pitcher's ballpark. Now Mike Minor going today, and looking at some of the stats here on this game today, Ross, it looks like when the total is 8.5 for San Diego, it's 1-4 on the road. I don't know if you like the total or the side in this one.
You know what, Ron? I got a lot of conflicting information here. San Diego Padres have hit 40 home runs, by the way, in 24 games. I don't think a lot of people realize that as well, because they were never known as a power team up until the last couple seasons now. And also, they've hit 14 home runs in 7 games against left-handed starting pitchers. Minor is a left-handed starting pitcher. Now, I mentioned this last week, and it's worth noting. Since last year, beginning of last season, I should say, the San Diego Padres are 3-18 on the road when facing a left-handed starting pitcher, and that includes 0-4 this year. So you can see where I'm going with this, Ron. On the other hand, they're 15-5 against American League teams since last year. And those games, if you want to look at the total, San Diego in interleague games since the start of last year has gone 15-5 over the total.
Yeah, and Mike Minor is a pretty decent pitcher to have for a Texas team who's 10-11, and a win today gets them back to 500.
Yep.
Oakland taking on the Arizona Diamondbacks. Now, don't look now. The D-backs are on a 5-game win streak. Oakland, let's be honest, they're having a great year, but in the performance value index, there's going to be a cool down period. I don't know when that's going to be, but maybe it started last night with Zach Gallen over Chris Bassett. And looking at today's line, you got -148 for Oakland. The over-under set at 9. The forecast going back to Oakland here, 5.75, 4.46. The over-under set at 10.21. Frankie Montas getting the call here today, Ross, for Oakland, going up against Luke Weaver of the Arizona Diamondbacks. Weaver, did he used to pitch with Detroit? I'm trying to think.
No, that's another Weaver. There was a couple of them.
Okay.
Jeff Weaver and then his brother. Neither are pitching in Major League Baseball anymore.
Okay. I saw that name and it just crossed my mind. 5-game winning streak for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Now, the value on Oakland today, we had them listed at -161. They're 148. They're teetering on that my borderline of 150. But, one thing with streaks, my rule is I don't mess with them. And if I do like this team, I either go with Arizona today or I take the total. But the Kogo at 51%. And we're in open season, according to the SBI, on total. So maybe the total is what we're looking at here, unless you do like Oakland.
You know what, Ron? How about my boy Zach Gallen again yesterday? Keep an eye on him, folks. Good young pitcher. Arizona's 5-0, Ron, but that loss for Oakland yesterday broke a 5-game or 4-game win streak. So it's not like you're going against a hot streak with a team that's cold right now, because Oakland's far from that. Frankie Montas, 4 starts this year, Ron. The A's are 3-1 in those starts, and his 1.57 ERA in those outings has a lot to do with it. Luke Weaver, I'm glad you brought him up because he's been horrendous this year. 4 starts for the Arizona Diamondbacks this year, an 11.86 ERA, and he's allowed 7 home runs in 13 2/3 innings pitched. And against a team like Oakland that could go yard quite frequently, that spells trouble. And then also the bullpen mismatch. The Oakland A's, one of the best bullpens in baseball, while Arizona's bullpen has really struggled over the last 7 games. But I got to give them a pass because part of those numbers being terrible was the games at Coors Field they played in their last road series.
One thing I look for, Ross, when I look at starting pitchers, I don't innings pitched in their last games.
Yeah.
Since the beginning of the year, Weaver, 3.1 innings, 4 innings, 3 innings, and 3.1.
Yeah,
this guy can't even get out of the 4th inning.
Yeah, 13 2/3 innings in 4 starts, and he's given 7 home runs up. So something to keep an eye on. I mean, look, here's the thing too, Ron. I look at Oakland -148, right? You look at the run line, and usually a team in that money line parameter, if you're going to lay the 1.5 with them on the run line, it's usually somewhere around +130 or so. Oakland is -1.5, -101, I think, at bookmaker. So to me, that indicates to me that there's, this is a game you might want to stay away from.
It's
if I know you said if you can't play Arizona, you should go. You should stay away from it. Just go to total. But again, I agree with that when a team's on a 5-game winning streak like that. But like I said, Oakland's won 4 of their last 5, and their only loss was 4-3 yesterday.
Yeah, But again, to me, it's
It's a
the
tough
Rob
call.
Hybrid. Yeah, it's a tough call.
Yeah.
And I think for me personally, I think if I do like this game, with Frankie Montas going 7 innings the last 2 starts, I
Yeah.
think under is where I'm leaning.
Yeah, the starting
51%.
pitching matchup definitely leans toward the A's. Okay, and then their bullpen is far superior.
Yeah.
So,
And you know what? 7-4 at home this season for Arizona, so not too shabby at
yeah.
all.
And now that we confuse the hell out of not only the listeners but
No, but
ourselves.
I'm talking about the total.
Oh no, I know.
Yeah, 4-6-1 to the under. Um, all right, the Tampa Bay Rays taking on the New York Yankees. Now the Rays a 123 favorite. I think this is the first team to ever
Wow.
be a favorite this year in New York, unless I got this number wrong here. Let me look at
Yeah, I
booklet.
see him at minus 110 at
Yeah,
bookmakers.
127 now.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Is
So
that across the board, Ron, for
well,
the most part in
not
that
just
range?
bookmaker. Let me see here. Checking out the New York Yankees. 120, 123, 127, 122.
So all in that range.
Yeah, all in that range. So
Yeah.
hey, what can you say? Tampa Bay, 2-game win streak, coming off a 7-5 win. They got lucky in the 9th inning because the outfielder Theo, what was his name again? Anyways, the right fielder for the Blue Jays kicked that ball and it allowed the Rays to score, and they eventually went on to win that game because they tied it with that mistake, and then they won 7-5 in extra innings. And looking at today, you got Blake Snell going for the Tampa Bay Rays. You got Masahiro Tanaka going for the New York Yankees. We're on a 6-game win streak, but 4 of those came from Boston, and Boston, we all know what their situation is. 16-6 on the year. Last 2 games for the Yankees have gone under total. This Ross could be a great preview of what to come in the next couple of months.
Yeah, this one's interesting. See those pictures behind me, folks? Now, make believe you didn't see them, okay? But the Yankees are, to me, they're a very good value in the spot. I mean, you're talking about a Yankee team that's 10-1 at home this season. Granted, they're missing Giancarlo Stanton, they're missing Aaron Judge, but it seems like offensively they haven't missed a beat because of that. And you're also looking at Masahiro Tanaka, 3 starts this year, 2.31 ERA. Since 2017, he's made 4 starts against the Tampa Bay Rays at Yankee Stadium, an 0.93 ERA and an 0.59 WHIP in those starts. And it's not like he just went 5 innings. He threw a complete game in there. He had an 8-inning effort, 29 innings pitched, and 36 strikeouts against just 1 walk in those 4 home starts against Tampa Bay. And you're also looking at a Yankee team since last year, 70-27 at home and 45-14 in night games at home. And they're an underdog. So
Yeah.
Blake Snell, great pitcher, right, Ron? I mean, won the Cy Young a couple years ago, but he's got a pretty uneven performance line when you look at his career starts at Yankee Stadium. He's either been really good, really bad, or nothing in between.
Yeah, and Tampa Bay is in a role where they haven't done well as a road underdog. 0-3 this year, averaging 7.
A road favorite, you mean?
Sorry?
A road favorite, you're meaning?
Oh, sorry. Okay, no, I thought I was looking at the 6-3 as a road favorite. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong one. 6.67 and 5. Man, wow, that's a lot of runs as a road favorite. But you know what? 9 games this year. They've only been a road underdog 3 times this season. But looking at their record here tonight, 6-3 as a road favorite, and coming off a win, they're 5-2. Coming off a road win as a favorite, 4-1. But like you said, the Yankees at home, 9-1 coming off a win, 10-1 during night games, 7-0 coming off AL East division opponent. This is going to be.
The other thing too, Ron, the Tampa Bay bullpen, despite them playing terrific baseball of late, and I believe they're 8-1 in their last 9. I think that's correct. But in their last 7, their bullpen has a 6.27 ERA, and they've allowed 7 home runs in 37 and a third innings pitched. So sort of a mixed bag here, Ron. This is going to be a really interesting game to see what develops.
Yeah, and like I said before we started this could be something that we see down the road. The American League East, goes through one of these 2 teams right here.
Yeah, but you like Tampa Bay as a sleeper before the season started, and you know what? they're just a game and a half behind the Yankees in the AL East.
Yeah, and the thing with the Yankees, how many times are we going to hear that Stanton and Judge are out of the lineup? Like, those to me, like that. There's a history there, and if that's a problem, then they're going to have to address that. Like, you're
Yeah,
going to
no
keep a
doubt.
guy who only plays 50 games a year?
Stanton especially.
Yeah,
Okay, I mean, both of them, but Stanton especially has missed a lot of time. It just they're always hurt.
yeah. That's great. Cleveland taking on the Pittsburgh Pirates. Now the Bucks sending JT Brubaker to the mound here up against Carlos Carrasco of the Cleveland Indians. Now the Indians bullpen just phenomenal this season to start. Minus 180 is the price here on Cleveland. The over-under set at 9. ATS forecast, the computer pick, going to lean with the Tribe here. 6.96, 5.29. The over-under at 12.25. Looking at the chances of winning, the percentage play does favor Pittsburgh at 72%, but keep in mind they're 4-14 on the season, where it's Cleveland 13-9 on a 3-game win streak, sending Carrasco. The over is 3-1 in his last 4 starts, 20% chance of winning. Tough to go against a Cleveland team that should dominate this contest this evening.
Yeah, I got him at minus 210 before we went on the air. Look, this is a game I'm just going to stay away from. If anything, look at the total, but that's tough too because I don't trust Pittsburgh's bullpen. If you want to go under 8.73 ERA in their last 7, if you want to go over, Ron mentioned Cleveland's bullpen has just been terrific. Pittsburgh can't hit their way out of a paper bag. Game to just pass for me.
Yeah, Pittsburgh at home against B-type teams, so teams that are 50 to 59%. Over is 3-1 in the shortened season right here, and 2-6 at home. Pittsburgh, where Cleveland on the road 7-5, 3-8-1 to the under, but everything's gone under for Cleveland almost this year.
It seems that way.
Washington taking on the Atlanta Braves now. This is a pretty good game last night where Washington lost 7-6 to the Braves. I think they were winning 6-5 at one point late in that game. And looking at the line, minus 130 for Atlanta. Over-under set at 10. ATS forecast, the computer pick. Going to lean with Washington, 6.47, 3.4. The over-under at 9.87. Austin Voth going today for the Nats and up against Josh Tomlin of the Atlanta Braves. And this is where Atlanta really, with the injury to Soroka, it really hurts the Braves here because you knew when Soroka was coming in that you give you a good 7 innings, and getting an arm like that out of the rotation is going to hurt the Braves down the stretch.
It'll hurt him eventually, yes. I'm not so sure it's going to hurt him in this series, but it's certainly going to come into play at some point, especially when you get to playoff time, right, Ron?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's your number one guy. Austin Voth has pitched pretty good this year. He's just not getting any run support. A 2.87 ERA and an 0.96 WHIP in 3 starts, Ron. But the Washington Nationals have only scored a combined 8 runs in those 3 games and gone 0-3 with Voth on the hill. And also, Voth 3 starts against Atlanta last year. This is the first this year. Pretty good ERA in those 3 starts last year, 3.21 ERA. But again, the Nationals only scored 6 combined runs in those games. So in Washington, you mentioned Washington blowing a lead last night, Ron. Their bullpen is really, really gone downhill over the last week and a half or so. So again, Washington 6-0 over the total the last 6. That might be a way I want to look at this game. I might be looking at the total in this contest.
Yeah, are you thinking over? You're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the reason I say that is because Washington on the road against B-type teams, over is 4-0 in the season.
Well, there you go. That helps my thought process.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? I mentioned this yesterday, Ron, and we've been talking about this. It's incredible. The Braves are 1-9 as an underdog this year, but 13-1 as a favorite. Well,
Yeah, and that's the mindset. That's psychology. When you go into, you wake up and you go into the game thinking, we're up against, Garrett Cole today. We're going to right there. You're in the tank mentally, right? Like you got to wake up with that dog attitude and say, okay, you know what? Big deal, Garrett Cole. We're going to put 10 on him today. That's the psychology. You probably need Anthony Robbins to go there and talk to the team or something,
doubt.
right? But
yeah, I mean, you mentioned this on several times about teams that beat the teams they're supposed to beat, but when they step up in class, they can't get out of their own way. The Braves fall into that category at the moment.
Hey, point proven yesterday again with Dallas, the Mavericks, right?
Yeah.
They come out, they fall behind 18-2, and they get the lead by about 9-10, and then they just can't play defense. And to me, that's all psychology right there. And Porzingis got he got shafted, but no matter what, you got to fight through those type of things during a game.
Yeah.
And to me, again, those type of teams have to find a way to get over the hump. There's a book out there called Good to Great. We can go through life being good, but if you want to be great, you're going to have to be part of that 10% club in life and find out what makes the 10% tick and what makes them special. And right now, that's why you see organizations like the Yankees always up there, right? Is because they're strong-minded on top of whoever organizes these teams, the general managers, but they got a tradition of just winning. And Atlanta, I've said this many times, Atlanta is probably one of the best regular season teams you'll ever see. But then when they get to the playoff, it's just
Yeah, I remember when Bobby Cox was there. They were winning the division every year, but would they win one world championship? And look at the pitching staffs they had back there: Smoltz, Glavine, Maddox.
Yeah. Don't forget John Rocker.
John Rocker. Yeah, the one-hit wonder.
Yeah. Seattle taking on the LA Dodgers. Now the Dodgers are minus 230 price. The over-under set at 10. ATS forecast, a computer pick. Gonna lean with the Dodgers here. 5.45, 4.07. The over-under at 9.52. I nearly called you last night in about the 7th or 8th inning.
I was thinking of you when I saw Seattle at an 8-6 lead. I said, man, Ron's gone beyond being prophetic now.
Yeah. I said, I better not. I said, they'll blow it. I know they will.
Their bullpen's not very good.
Yeah. And 11-9 was the final. Marco Gonzalez going today. Tony Gonsolin for the Dodgers. Now Dodgers 6-game win streak. Last 5 games have gone over the total, and it's just total opposite for Seattle. 6-game losing streak, 7-17 on the year, where the Dodgers are 17-7. And looking at the Kogos at 43% today, 15% chance of winning for the Dodgers. So if you go with the law of average theory, compared to 85% for the Mariners. So the do factor should kick in here for Seattle, but the bad news is they're playing the LA Dodgers.
Yeah, I got a tickler here, a Ron Raymond tickler. Nick Marley will be today's home plate umpire, and in his career, when he's calling balls and strikes, the home teams have gone 30-11. Doesn't spell well for Seattle. No. Anyway, Tony Gonsolin's been really good, Ron, in 2 starts for the Dodgers. Although he's only gone 4 and 5 innings, he hasn't allowed an earned run and only 4 hits in those 9 innings. So he's been pretty dominant. I know you don't like Marco Gonzalez, and I can understand why, because last year he was all over the place. But he's pitched pretty well this year. I'd like to take a lean toward the under here, Ron, but I just don't trust Seattle's bullpen. The Dodgers, on the other hand, right now, statistically, are the best bullpen in baseball by far.
Yeah, but if you do like the under, I got a little tidbit here, a tickler for you, Ross. When Seattle's on the road this season up against an opponent that has a 71 to 80% win percentage, so an A-type team, the under 3-10-2 to the under. And from a league system, so any road team this year facing teams that are 71 to 80%, 10-20-1. So not a bad 66% stat right there to the under. New York Mets taking on the Miami Marlins, and the Marlins here are underdog in this spot against the Mets. I did, you know what? When I was doing my homework yesterday, I had the Mets, and we talked about it yesterday. I love the Mets. I thought the Marlins, you said it too, right? They're due. And, probably subconsciously, maybe that's why I was on them more because of our conversation we had yesterday. And I didn't pull the trigger because we were such in a favorite market, laying 150, but now they're laying 175, sending David Peterson to the mound against Humberto Mejia today of the Marlins. Now, the bookmakers, again, 175, over under 9.5. Forecast leading with Miami here. 5.49, 5.43, the over-under at 10.92. So it does like it to go over the total. Kogo's at 61%. And looking at the price, we had the Mets here at plus 108 and the Marlins at minus 115. So you know what? If you like value and you believe in the percentage play, I think Marlins could be a good play here.
Yeah, I got burned on the Baltimore Orioles yesterday as a winning team, as an underdog versus a losing team. But in this case, again, you got Miami as a home underdog with a winning record against a team with a losing record. And the team with the losing record on the road is a favorite. So I would buyer beware there. Don't get caught up in these teams' records like I alluded to on a couple occasions over the last couple of days, Ron. I thoroughly believe before it's all said and done, Miami will be well below the 500 mark. They won't make the playoffs. And David Peterson, by the way, quietly this year in 3 starts. What do I got on him? Pretty good. Oh, sorry, 4 starts. The Mets are 3-1 in those 4 starts, and his 2.91 ERA has a lot to do with that. And the Miami bullpen's been absolutely horrible over the last 7, while the Mets bullpen has been very good. And I can't remind the folks enough that bullpens have to be factored in the climate we're living in right now, because starting pitchers across the league, Major League Baseball, both leagues, I should say, are averaging less than 5 innings per start.
Yeah, he's right here. Mr. Mattingly, yeah, Ross Benjamin, line 1, Ross Benjamin, line 1.
Don, you're about to be fired. It's just going to be 2 months from now. You just don't know it yet.
Yeah, you know what? You could be right. It's just, again, Miami falls into that trifecta of teams that I've been watching as value. Baltimore is the other one. Miami is one, and Detroit. They fall into that perception versus realities triangle of death, I call it, of baseball betting, because we all have these perception of teams that we think no one is seeing, that they're flying under the radar and they're bringing value. And then as soon as you jump on those teams, they just seem to go right in the tank. Case in point, Detroit, Baltimore right at the beginning, Miami, after the COVID break that they had. But it's trying to find those 3 teams that are, that fly under the radar, that bring value. But man, we're in a favorite market. Like, I'm debating today, do I just stick the favorites and ride this out, or do I start betting unders? This is a tough decision by the betting public right now. And if you, like you said, if you're the bookmaker, you're like, Joe not here today.
Think like a bookmaker. Yeah, I'm calling in sick today.
Yeah, Joe's not here. Joe's taking the day off. He's exactly. He wants you to go to a bookmaker to make your bet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so looking at Philadelphia, Ross, taking on the Bull Sox, you got Philly minus 125 price, over under set at 10.5. ATS forecast, the computer pick, gonna lean with Philadelphia here, 5.72, 3.86. The over under 9.58. You got Zach Eflin going up against Zach Godley today. Man, talk about you got the Phillies coming off that nice, impressive win against the Mets on Sunday. Now that Boston just got spanked in the Bronx, New York, and now they got to face Joe Girardi, a former Yankee, and his Phillies team. But the good news for Boston is that they're back home, and hopefully the Fenway can be friendly to them.
Look at that, 6-17. I don't think that's not a misnomer. Boston's not a very good team right now. Their bullpen is horrible. If anything, I would lean toward looking at the over in this game. And again, I got to look more in depth at this, but if you look at the fact Philadelphia's offense is starting to pick up of late, and they're playing much better right now. And Boston still could put a couple runs on the board here and there, but they're nowhere near the offense they were over the last decade. That Mookie Betts move is really burning them right now. I think Betts hit another one yesterday, Ron, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. And one thing, though, looking at the record of Philadelphia, they've only played 2 road games this year.
Well, they a lot of their schedule got canceled early on because of the COVID. Yeah. They played Miami in that first series, and that's when Miami had those rash of players that tested positive, and the Phillies didn't play for a week after that. Yeah. So how many games have they played so far? Look at the comparison. So yeah, it's really odd.
I think the over might be a little worth a shot here at 62%, even though the forecast doesn't like it. I think this one here flies.
And you have to look, talking about flying, I would look at the weather too, at Fenway Park, see which way the wind's blowing kind of thing. Okay. Always a factor especially with the short porch and left field run.
Well,
go ahead.
Yeah, according to my sources, 1% rain, 78%, 78 degrees. I forget, I'm a Fahrenheit guy here. You guys are Fahrenheit. We're Celsius. The wind is 7 miles per hour left to right.
Yeah, no factor then. So
yeah. Toronto Blue Jays taking on the Baltimore Orioles. Now the Blue Jays are minus 137. The over-under set at 10. The ATS forecast, the computer pick, going to lean with the O's here. 4.72, 4.29. The over-under set at 9.01. Now, looking at tonight's starters, you got Nate Pearson, the young phenom for the Blue Jays, who still haven't won for the Blue Jays yet. They're 0-3 in his last 3 starts. And looking at Wade LeBlanc, the fossil, you labeled him one day.
He still is a fossil. I haven't changed my mind about that.
They're on a 2-game losing streak. The Kogo at 39%. We had the Blue Jays here at plus 133, and the Orioles at plus 106. So a bit of, not much value here on Baltimore. 56% chance of winning compared to 62 for the Blue Jays. Man, 7-2 win last night. Never even close. But looking at tonight, I don't know. To me, you got Nate Pearson trying to get that first win. Maybe he does it tonight against Baltimore.
Yeah, these kids, Nate Pearson, Guerrero, really highly touted prospects, haven't lived up to expectations this year, but they're still really young. What's Guerrero? I think he's still 21 years old, for crying out loud. I think that these kids will eventually blossom as the year goes on. But right now, Pearson, real risky because he's not living or he's not pitching up to expectations that everybody thought he would be. A power pitcher. But, man, I don't know. Maybe this is a good spot for him to get well, Ron.
Yeah, the only thing that scares me, though, is Toronto's 1-3 on the road coming off a win. So
yeah,
consistency is not there, but the under might be there. Coming off a win on the road, 0-4 so far this season for the Blue Jays. And for the Baltimore Orioles, coming off a loss at home, 2-1 to the over-under. So I think the under 39% Kogo. I think the under might be worth a shot here tonight.
You know what? I mean, all these favorites coming in, but Baltimore is 12-8 as an underdog this year.
Wow. Cincinnati taking on the Kansas City Royals. The Reds, a 145 price. The over-under set at 9. ATS forecast, computer pick, gonna lean with KC here, 5.14, 4.31. The over-under at 9.45. Trevor Bauer going up against Brad Keller today for KC. Now looking at these Royals, the last 6 games have gone under the total. Cincinnati on 2 days rest. You don't see that much in baseball. Teams that, but that's right. They had that situation. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So 61% chance of this game going over the total tonight, but you got Trevor Bauer, and Bauer's been giving them some innings.
Yeah, it's a key, Ron, what you just said, because Cincinnati's bullpen isn't very good, and Bauer's fully capable of giving you 6 to 7 innings, and his ERA is very good. Kansas City going under the total a lot this year, especially of late, like Ron just touched upon. And you know what, Ron? This could be a good spot for an under here. I'll have to take a closer look at that.
Well, sorry, Ross. I'm just looking at the lines here. It looks like Castillo might be the call here tonight, getting the nod.
A little bit different then. Castillo's been good since he's came up with the Reds, but he hasn't been as good as Bauer this year. So have to take a closer look at that.
Yeah. Again, we can't, I'd love to break this down more, but, Trevor Bauer, Castillo, that's 2 different type pitchers, and it maybe affects the line. But what's the line here? Let me see if there's a line. 145. That's what I'm seeing across
What's
the board.
What's the total at, Ron?
The total here. So I got the total here at 9, but I'm going to take a look here. Total still 8.5. Yeah. So, man, that's a little odd. You think it'd be lower with Bauer starting, but you're looking at 8.5. So the line's coming in.
Yeah, Castillo's good, Ron. I mean, you know what I mean? He just hasn't pitched up to snuff this year. He's capable.
Yeah, looking at Castillo, 0-2, ERA at 3.91, and his WHIP of 1.43. So
yeah, that WHIP is awfully high for that. That's another indicator, right, Ron?
I love that. I love that angle.
391 doesn't match that 1.4. What is it? 1.43, Ron?
Yep.
The WHIP, yeah.
1.43.
So he's wiggled out of a lot of jams, and he can get out of a lot of jams because he's a power pitcher.
Yeah, and he'll give you innings. Like he's, his last few starts, 6, 5, and 6. So, he'll give you some innings. And for let me see here, Kelly. Oh, this game now, it's just amazing. I just go back now. This game has been postponed. So
because of the COVID-19 thing.
Yeah. So on to the next.
That was a heck of a conversation.
Yeah, we just wasted 5 minutes there. Yeah.
Anyway,
But the good thing about podcasts, I can edit it, and people are like, "What are you talking about, Kansas
yeah,
City?"
yeah.
So,
So, like another handicapper I saw last week that was giving out a game at 1 o'clock in the afternoon that was canceled at 8 o'clock that morning.
oh wow,
Yeah. So
163.
talk about
Sorry.
preparation, right, Ron?
Oh yeah. Chicago White Sox taking on Detroit Tigers. Now the White Sox a 163 price, over under set at 9.5. ATS forecast, the computer pick, gonna lean with Detroit 4.64, 4.52. The over under at 9.16. Now Dylan Cease getting the call here for the White Sox, who are coming off a 7-2 win over your favorite team, Matt Boyd, your pitcher, and Tariq Skubal for the Tigers going today. I believe he's new. I've never seen that name before.
Yeah. That's got to be his first even appearance, unless he's appeared in relief. I got to believe that's his first Major League Baseball start.
Yeah, I agree with you. Looking at the records here, 9-11 for Detroit, 12-11 for the White Sox. Looking at the totals, nothing really to write home about. Looking at this game here, Ross, I don't know. 163 looks like a lot of, the big price here for the White Sox, but they're going up against pitcher that we haven't heard of.
Yeah, and a team that's lost 6 in a row. And what's the White Sox record at home?
The Whites, okay, I'll bring that right up right
now. Not very good.
Yeah, White Sox at home, 4-8.
Yeah, pass.
Yeah. All right, next game, Milwaukee, Minnesota. 154 price on the Minnesota Twins, and the over-under set at 9. The forecast, 3.2 to 3.8 for Milwaukee. Corbin Burns going here today for the Brew Crew up against Kenta Maeda. Kenta, he's been pretty good for the Twins this year. Yeah, and he's been in the last 4 starts, 3-1. The under is 5-0 for the Twins in the last 5. So they're getting some really good pitching, and they're playing well. They're playing really well, 15-8.
Yeah.
60% is the Kogo here, Ross. And Minnesota, that team that I underrated there a few all season, but hey, 34% chance of winning compared to 25 against a Milwaukee team who I think finally woke up against that Chicago series.
Yeah.
Swept the Cubs. So, hey, let's see what Milwaukee brings to Minnesota, the Twin City tonight. And this should be this is probably the game of the night.
Yeah, Milwaukee much better on the road than they've been at home, Ron. In Minnesota, by the way, 12 home games this year, 11 unders.
Wow. All right, St. Louis taking on the Chicago Cubs. Now, this was a doubleheader yesterday, I believe. And looking at today's line, -1.
There's your pitcher, Ron. Ponce de Leon.
There he is. There's my man with his beret on. Hey, his beret and his baguette. And looking at the side here, -185 for the Cubs. 6.5 is the total. So 6.5. Is there a doubleheader again today?
There's got to be a doubleheader. St. Louis is going to be playing a lot of doubleheaders, Ron.
That's true. I don't see. Maybe it is there. I'll have to check it out. 8:15 is the start on this one.
Yeah, if the total's 6.5, it's got to be. I mean, I know Yu Darvish has pitched well at Wrigley Field, but that's a ridiculous total. It's got to be. It's got to be 1/2 of the twin bill. I would think.
I would imagine so, but just for this purpose, we'll. Yu Darvish going for the Cubs up against Daniel Ponce de Leon for the Cards. Now the computer picks. He's a low-scoring game here. 3.32, 1.73. Now the over/under at 5.05 is the total of our combined score. Over/under 6.5. Maybe. Hey, who knows?
What's the wind at Wrigley Field today, which is always a big fact?
As of 11:33 Eastern, the 0% rain, 71 Fahrenheit. 11 miles per hour in. So, yeah.
There
you go. That's why maybe but I see some.
You always got to look at that wind factor at Wrigley Field, folks. And there's a reason why the books release the total of any Cubs home game last.
Yeah.
They usually wait to the morning of the game as opposed to the night before they put a total out at Wrigley Field.
Yeah, so I'm seeing an 8 now, Ross, across the board. So the total is at 8.
Okay, so that's got to be a 9 inning. It's got to be just no doubleheader, I should say.
So looking at this game, Yu Darvish, 3-1 for the Cubs in his last 4 starts. And this should be an interesting one here today. You got division opponent. And I'm going to see what Chicago's record. I know it's really good against division opponent, but thank God St. Louis started to play again because, man, I was getting tired of Chicago beating up all their division foes.
Yeah.
Now, versus division this year, 6-5. Wow, a little surprising. Well, Milwaukee, right?
Yeah.
So you know what? this is going to be an interesting matchup. 1-6-1 at night games at Wrigley this season for the home team.
The Cubs bullpen's been, you look at their overall numbers, not very good, but they've pitched a lot better over the last 7 to 10 days.
Okay, so Ross, we're going to go right into the 80% club.
All right.
I think yesterday we had Marlins under and Astros. I think we had the Astros. I can't remember. Do you recall? No.
You had the Marlins under and the Houston Astros. That's correct.
Yeah. So we did all right, 1-1. Now looking at today, I got a nice 16-1 stat on a very get the seal test milk ready because we're going to eat a lot of chalk right here. -200 to -220 home favorite when the Angels are a home favorite of -200 to 220, coming off a win versus a left-handed pitcher since 1996, 16-1 straight up for 94.12%. And the Giants, the over 11-0-1 as an away team, coming off 4 overs the last 7 years. So that's a pretty decent stat.
Yeah, I
here.
like that one. That one. Yeah.
And I'm going to try to find one more here. Let's go with the Yankees here. 10-1 during you said this one before. The Rockies. Let's go with the Rockies here. The under 10-1 for the Rockies is a 140 to 160 road underdog coming off a loss the last 3 years. So
yeah,
not a bad total right here, Ross.
6-2-1 under the total on the road this year as well. So
and I had the under. That was I had the Oakland under last night. Yeah.
You won that, right?
Yeah, that's the only one I won in baseball. But you know what? A lot of action here today, Ross. A lot of great information. And this one thing I love about this.
Can I interject for a second?
Oh, absolutely. Go ahead.
I keep mentioning that Oakland, which intrigues me with the -148 and just -101 on a run line. Anytime you have a road favorite in Major League Baseball of -125 to -175, which the A's are tonight, yep, and they're outscoring their opponents by 1 or more runs per game, which the A's definitely are right now, and they're coming off a loss by 2 runs or less. They're coming off that 4-3 loss, 78-22 since 2016, and outscoring the opposition by an average of 3 runs per game. And the average line in those 100 games, -148, by the way, Ron. So,
oh, wow.
I would take a look at the A's. I'm going to take a harder look at that, especially coming off a loss. The only thing the deterrent is like Ron said, going against winning streaks. Arizona 5-0 the last 5.
Yeah, it's tough. But
it's tough, yeah.
But you got Frankie Montas going today.
Yeah,
against Luke Weaver. So
there's a pitching mismatch in my opinion. But
yeah, no, that's a solid stat, and the price is not too bad, right? What's I see 148.
Well, yeah, 148, and then you look at Oakland's bullpen is very good. Arizona's bullpen not very good at all. 7.20 ERA over the last 7. I might really take a hard look at even playing Oakland on the run line here, and taking less of a risk.
Yeah.
So.
Hey, you know what? You deserve it right now because you're as hot as Frank's Red Hot. That's another one I got to contact for sponsorship.
There you go.
Have the Frank Red Hot.
We'll have our, the Frank's Red Hot segment, where we give out a free pick or whatever the case may be.
So, Ross, if people do want to ride your wagon here and get on that hot streak, where can they get those picks?
They can knock at my door at no. They can get them at rbwins.com or rossbenjaminsports.com. Same URL. 2 URLs, same site. Weekly, daily, monthly packages up right now, folks. Red Hot, again, to reiterate, 39-17 with my paid selections in all sports. And that's since July 29th. That includes 24-9 in Major League Baseball. Or you can get them right at Ron's site, atsstats.com. Love to see you buy. Put a little money in Ron's pocket, too. atsstats.com, Ross Benjamin on a daily basis. Also, Monday through Friday, I'll be sending Ron some free pick videos, and he's getting them up on the site for us until we get everything programmed correctly. And, Ron, time for you to bounce back today. 1 losing day, nothing to fret about. And the best bet on the board is Raymond. After a losing day, having a winning day.
Yeah, and we'll be having our free picks too, Ross. And like you said, they can get them at atsstats.com. And I'll have my top plays in hockey, NBA, and Major League Baseball, along with Ross Benjamin. And guys, ATSstats.com is our website, or if you want to get a hold of Ross Benjamin, rbwins.com. All right, Ross, Tuesday, August 18th, put an L in it.
Yeah,
hey, it's in the
another
books,
one
buddy.
in the books.
Hey, not an L, but an L.
Yeah, there you go.
And, hey, you know what's also exciting? Dun, 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 dun. Pretty soon, NFL football.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's less than a month away. I keep putting it out of my mind because of this COVID-19 thing. But you know what, Ron? They seem to have it under control right now.
Yeah.
Only 15 players right now in the entire NFL are sidelined because of COVID-19.
Well, knock on wood, and hopefully,
Yeah.
looking forward to talking some NFL football too. But love doing these Major League Baseball shows with you, Ross. Again, for Ross Benjamin, I'm Ron Raymond. This was the Raymond Report Sports Betting Podcast for Tuesday, August 18th. As always, shop for value, play those percentages. We'll see you back shortly with another Raymond Report.